Hey everybody, hope everyone's having a great day. Last week I dropped a video as well as reaching out to a couple of online groups asking for a little bit of help on our 2025 Alaska trip. I've been going through the milepost and all that. The first question that I asked was turnouts or pullouts. I thought they were the same thing. Long story short, they're listed differently when you read the milepost. So overwhelmingly, the response was, let's see here, turnouts are typically larger. Turnouts are typically where you may want to spend the night, but I will tell you my favorite response was, you don't know it until you see it. So I have a feeling that's kind of what we're going to go by. But if there's a sign, don't pull over. And also somebody suggested pay attention to the access points, because if you're in a bigger rig, it may be difficult to turn around if there's only one access point. So maybe keep an eye out for the double access points in and out. My other question was for money, as far as taking some Canadian cash once we cross the border, how much is appropriate. The majority of the people said anywhere from $200 to $500. Most people don't like carrying a whole lot of cash, but you do want to make sure that if internet's down or whatever, you've got a couple tanks. You can fill up your tank a couple times. A lot of the provincial parks, from what I understand, are cash only. So just have a little bit. Also, they suggested just pull it from the ATM when you get over the border. It's easier than going to the bank. Also, someone said to stop in at a casino and do it there because there's no exchange rate. So probably not something we'll do, but I mean, it sounds like it works to me. So just keep that one in mind. This week we're actually downloading and reorganizing our rig. Downloading because we want as little weight on here as possible. There's some bad roads there, so we're taking our kayaks and our bikes off, and we really debated on that because we use our bikes especially a lot, but we're going to be hopefully out hiking, doing excursions, so we will live for a couple of months without them. My husband did put a bit of a cargo rack on the back just in case we are lucky enough to come back with some halibut or salmon, because he would like to do a fishing excursion. So I am also downloading inside because I tend to collect. I had a few things I just couldn't give up, but they're really not needed for the trip. We'll give up when we sold our home, but they're not needed for the trip, so they're getting downloaded. We are organizing. Everything needs to have its place. You want it as simple as possible. We're also getting rid of duplicates, because sometimes when you get disorganized or you're not paying attention, don't put something back where it belongs, you end up buying duplicates. So we don't need that. And as far as any more questions this week, gas, is everybody, I see a lot of people saying that they're planning every single stop to get gas through Canada, especially some of the more remote areas. I don't know if I have that much patience going through the milepost and planning out every single place, that we want to stop and fill up. So would it be a good rule of thumb, half a tank and start looking? I don't know. So please drop comments down below, because I really don't want to have to go through there and plan every single stop. As far as, let's see, our pets, we all love our pets. Some of these the excursions are long. We do not want to leave our girls alone all day, and we won't. So at this point, we're planning on the longer ones. Either he goes or I go. It depends on He's more into fishing. I want to go dog sledding. So we'll split, and that way one person can stay with him. But is there a better way to do it? I mean, rover.com. Do you guys put yours into kennels? Our little grand puppy doesn't kennel so well, so any other ideas, let me know. But leave comments, like, and subscribe. We appreciate you all, and have a great day. Bye. My hands are moving a little too much. Sorry.